欢迎来到话题面对面单元。这个月6月6号是诺曼底登陆 D-Day 75周年纪念。诺曼底登陆战役标志着盟军反攻纳粹的起点。我们回顾2次大战的历史，最让人觉得悲伤的就是纳粹屠杀犹太人。根据估计，至少有超过600万的犹太人遭受到了屠杀。但是犹太民族不仅没有因此堕落，反而更加的激发了他们无比的韧性和团结的力量。战后犹太人独立建国，让以色列这个国家在国际社会当中占有一席之地，而犹太人在全球的影响力更是不可小觑。全世界的犹太人口中，第一多在以色列，第二多在美国。富比士杂志每年所公布400位全美国最有钱的亿万富翁排行榜上，有超过100位以上都是犹太人。20世纪最重要的科学家爱因斯坦、股神巴菲特、微软创办人比尔盖茨，还有脸书的创办人马克祖克伯，甚至是华尔街1半以上的金融精英，全部都是犹太人。至于其他领域也有，像是大导演史蒂芬·史匹柏，而每年的诺贝尔奖得主犹太裔得奖者更是高的不成比例。还有川普总统的女婿库许纳也是犹太人，现在已经是成为除了川普之外，美国最有影响力的第2号人物。因此有人说，犹太人基本上掌握了美国的金融、政治和国家命脉。而我本人也独家专访到了美国最具有影响力的犹太人政策团体美国犹太人委员会的执行长杰森·以萨森。透过了这段访谈，大家应该能够了解犹太人奋斗的历程，以及他们是如何对抗万难而获得成功的。
We talk about the Holocaust that happened during World War II.
Sure.
And it was greatest tragedy in human history. What kind of lessons can we learn from this tragedy?
Well, several lessons from the Holocaust. The lesson to pay attention when political figures scapegoat a minority, incite prejudice and contempt for a population. To take it seriously, to take rhetoric seriously when it comes from powerful political forces. Don't expect that society will reject prejudice. Expect the opposite, that prejudice packaged and sold by charismatic political figures or popular political movements will move populations, will move societies, and counter it relentlessly, thoughtfully. Any victimized or targeted population, subgroup, needs to mobilize, needs to make friends, needs to reach out to other parts of the society, build alliances against prejudice, against ignorance, against hate. This has been a lesson that has been absorbed by my community, by the Jewish community. Also developing safety valves, developing ways to fight back, but also to find safe haven if that is necessary. And that's part of the history of the 20th century for the Jewish people. 6 million Jews were slaughtered in the Holocaust. Millions of other people were targeted and killed as well. But our community was particularly devastated and targeted by the Nazis regime. Half of the Jews living in Europe before World War II were slaughtered in the Holocaust. 1/3 of the Jewish population totally of the world. State of Israel was created after the war in the homeland of the Jewish people, going back millennia, as a way to recover from this immense, unprecedented tragedy, and also to provide for the defense of the Jewish people going forward, so that there would be a refuge that Jews could call home and could regard as a safe haven, as a safe place to be and to prosper. And Israel has prospered. And the Jewish people have, over the course of now 3/4 of a century, recovered to a degree, but not without scars and not without bitter memory. And lessons absorbed in our own country, in the United States. The lesson was very clear that anti-Semitism, which has been something that Jews have had to cope with for millennia, going back, as you know, to the really literally thousands of years. We have to take it seriously. We have to stay united. We have to make friends with other common cause with other groups, with the larger society. We have to clear away misconceptions. We have to fight religious-based bigotry and other kinds of ethnic-based bigotries. And we also can't just be about ourselves. We have to work with other communities and help fight the causes of other communities as well that are facing prejudice, that are facing discrimination, or that are facing violence. And so AJC, my organization, has reached out successfully and aggressively over decades to Asian American communities, to African American communities, to Latino communities in the United States, to all kinds of subgroups, and to people of different faiths. We're a very tiny population in the United States. Jews constitute perhaps 2% of the American population, perhaps less. We've naturally wanted to form coalitions with other groups so that together we can fight prejudice that affects us and that affects others. Again, all stemming from the horrible experience of the Holocaust, the lessons learned from the Holocaust.
After the war, has Germany expressed sufficient self-reflection and apology to say goodbye to this part of history? How do you feel? And how does the Jewish people see their own people and their relations with Germany right now?
What form of compensation or apology is ever sufficient after you have masterminded the mechanized slaughter of millions of people? That being said, Germany has gone to enormous lengths, taken enormous strides, both in terms of compensation, but in terms of genuine, across-the-board, government after government, recognition of the crimes that were committed by the Nazi regime, the crimes that much of German society were complicit in, and has found various ways to make restitution in really remarkable ways. It has to be said that the German government and German society, the elites of German society certainly, culturally, educationally, politically, all different important sectors of German society have demonstrated they recognize what happened in World War II as an abomination. They recognize the targeting of the Jews as an abomination and unacceptable and uncivilized behavior, and they have made various efforts to right this horrible wrong to the extent that it's possible to do so. So there have been monuments and museums and funds that have been established and efforts to teach to the next generation and the generation after that what happened, and really laying themselves bare to the scrutiny and the judgment of the world in really commendable ways. The AJC has had the privilege of partnering with many German institutions, political foundations, museums, municipal governments, state and national governments, in various ways to work on issues of Holocaust restitution and remembrance, and in a way, kind of a moral rebalancing. And many education efforts. The extent to which Holocaust education is a part of the curriculum in German schools, the extent to which German students are brought to the sites of the Holocaust, the death camps, we've been very much a part of that as well, and also the efforts that have been made to restore some of the killing sites so that people can preserve them and can see them and can witness and get a visceral sense of what really happened. And Germany has been not the least bit shy about going forward with these efforts. It's been really commendable that they have recognized it is their obligation, and it is their eternal obligation to bear witness to what happened, to expose their society forever to what happened. And we will continue to work with the German government. And I would say that if you ask how Jews generally regard Germany, I must confess, I grew up in a household. My father fought in World War II in Europe as an American soldier, and was one of the many who helped liberate Europe from the Nazis. In my household, it was not possible to think about buying German products. But of course, that was in the 1950s and the 1960s. But I work for an organization that believes that it's important to work with a government that has truly committed itself to restitution and to acknowledgement and to recognition of what happened and to moving forward. And so AJC for 50 plus years, 60 plus years, has worked with successive German governments and a variety of institutions. And we've established our own office that is now 20 years old in Berlin to interact on a regular, daily, hourly basis sometimes with the German government and German institutions and civil society. So in my organization, and I would say in my generation now, and in the generations that follow mine, there is an open dialogue with Germany and a recognition that despite the horrors of the past, Germany is a potential partner and an actual partner in many ways, including, by the way, the relationship that Germany enjoys with Israel, which is extremely important to both countries, mutually beneficial, and exists on many levels, culturally, educationally, politically, strategically. And that's something that we celebrate, we welcome, and we do what we can to further encourage.
Despite the trial and tribulations, the Jewish people do not give in, but instead they come back stronger. In every corner of this world, the Jewish people have played a very, very important role. What are the driving forces for the Jewish people to be tougher and stronger after so much suffering?
Thank you for that question. Honestly, I'm not so sure I'm very different, or we're very different from other people. I'm not sure we're so very different from Chinese people in having a family focus and having a focus on education, on values, and maintaining those values, those standards, on not just gliding through life, but taking seriously the challenges that are presented to you and the opportunities that are presented. It also, obviously, I think it must be said that our community has been in many ways shaped by the scars that have been visited on the Jewish people over the centuries. Again, not that other people haven't also been victimized in various ways, of course, but I think in some ways being subject to discrimination kind of unites a community, unites a people. Being dispersed, as the Jewish people were millennia ago by the Romans or by other conquerors of the Holy Land, has forced these dispersed people, this diaspora as we call it, the Jews around the world who were scattered around the world, to find ways to meet each other and come together and work together. And then, of course, the fact that in many countries where Jews were dispersed to in the centuries past were themselves subjects of discrimination and forced to live in ghettos or forced to forced out of certain neighborhoods, but also forced out of a great many professions, and therefore required to find ways to survive in these societies and get along in these societies, not fully integrated into these societies because of walls of discrimination that were erected by these societies. All of this has helped to bring the people together over time. But again, there's a family focus, there's an education focus, I would argue not so different from what has characterized the Jewish people. What has characterized the Chinese people over time, which is, I think, another reason why there is such a natural affinity and common bond between Chinese and Jews.
Okay. History proves that unity is the key to a people's development and prosperity, and the Jewish people can be seen as the best living testimony. Looking into the future, what kind of changes can the Jewish people bring to the world?
Yes, with all humility, one has to say that there has been, I think, disproportionate Jewish achievement in certain sectors. But again, I think entirely a function of our history and an education focus and a set of kind of moral precepts and values that have been passed down from generation to generation, not unlike the Chinese. I think that there has been a disproportionate number of Nobel Prizes awarded to Jewish scientists and literary figures. But again, honestly, Rebecca, I think we're not so very different. I think we're a tiny people. The Chinese are a people in great multitudes. There are altogether in the world today no more than 15 million Jews. It's a drop in the bucket. It would have been a great many more had it not been for the Holocaust. But in societies where there has been a legal tradition and a constitutional political tradition that enables Jews to be full members of society, and that is the case in the United States, and it is the case since the Enlightenment in most of, really in all of Europe today. Not that there isn't still discrimination and anti-Semitism and even violence committed against Jews, as you know, where Jews have been allowed to be fully functioning, fully integrated members of society, because of this focus on education, because of the focus on sort of family values and a tradition of also being involved in the world and wanting to give to the world, wanting to contribute to the well-being of the world, of the larger society. That has all led to, I think, sort of disproportionate achievement.
Yeah, you can mention education. We can learn that the Jewish people value education much. Very, very much. It's so important, so critical family to raise their Jewish people,
Indeed.
to raise their children. Many parents all know that the people who know best about education are the Jewish people, so who have produced numerous Nobel Prize laureates. So how do Jewish people educate their children? What kind of qualities should their children have?
Well, look, Rebecca, I mean, I could speak of my own experience as a parent. Certainly sent my kids to the best schools they could get into, and to elementary, secondary, university level as well. But honestly, Rebecca, no different than from what I've seen, from the experience that I've seen among the Chinese people, in terms of wanting very much to be sure that the next generation is afforded every possible opportunity and required to take very seriously the opportunities that are presented, and not just spend more time on Snapchat and watching stupid television shows, but actually studying and getting ahead and taking life seriously, taking school seriously, taking opportunities seriously. I think that's been the history of our people. It has been the history of your people as well.
Mm-hmm. Don't you feel that Jewish people now get very much respect in the community here nowadays in this society?
Look, anti-Semitism is an old virus, and it hasn't gone away completely. And I think that given the fact that there is a background level of prejudice against the Jewish people, as there is against other minorities, I should also point out, there is still a great deal of respect. Yes, I think that certainly in the United States and in many places around the world, there's a sense, and I've sensed this also among Chinese people with whom I've spent time over the years, a feeling that there is something extraordinary in the history and the experience of the Jewish people. I would say, extraordinarily bad and extraordinarily good. Extraordinarily encouraging and inspiring, and also tragic. It's a singular people, and it has experienced the worst that mankind can offer, but has tried very hard to overcome. And I think with the help and the support and the understanding of like-minded people in other societies around the world, has managed to achieve.
Taiwan government has been now promoting transitional justice since President Tsai Ing-wen, the incumbent president, she took office. So could you please provide us with your experience how to communicate with people with different opinions?
Well, I spend a lot of my time communicating with people from different backgrounds and with different opinions. I find that the most effective strategy is don't assume that you know everything. Listen to the other person you're speaking with, whether it's a person or a party or a government, an institution. Hear them, understand where they're coming from, their background, their experiences that have shaped their thinking, and try to find common values and try to find common concerns. In some cases, common threats also are ways to communicate and to unite. Whether it's a threat of terrorism or a threat of prejudice, there are ways that people can be brought together. I don't think it's so mysterious. It's usually about finding a way to identify, to empathize, to earn trust, and to be committed to working together. It's not mysterious. We're having a little problem with that politically in the United States. Maybe you've noticed that lately. But you also see counter forces that are trying to move in the direction of greater unity and common purpose rather than this trend toward polarization and name calling, which has been an unfortunate episode that we've gone through politically in the United States. I'm hoping we're getting out of it sometime soon.
Yeah, very good. So do you have anything else to share with us, with our audience?
No, again, just I think it's important to emphasize, as I was trying to do throughout our discussion, the shared history and the shared values of the Chinese and the Jewish people. That I think in many ways our cultures, our civilizations, ancient, and I must say, in the case of the Chinese civilization, lacking anti-Semitism, which has been a notable and really commendable feature, are among the factors that bring us together naturally as friends, as allies. And I look forward to the further development of these important relationships.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you,
for
Rebecca.
your time.
It's good talking to you.
Precious time and valuable opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
好的，今天的慧眼看天下，我们带您深入了解了犹太民族的历史，也更加了解到了犹太民族的坚强韧性。更多的国际消息，也请您持续的锁定慧眼看天下。我是王宝慧，下周同一时间我们再会。